All right, hello there. My name is Mark Isham. I'm happy to share some information about the Lumos Trade project. This is an open source project that I've been working on for about the last 3 months. Why did I create this project? Two primary reasons. The first, I am a bit of an amateur stock trader, and there was a lot of frustrating moments using my brokers. I use both E-Trade and Charles Schwab. Great brokers for reliability and for functionality, terrible brokers for their reporting and for just tracking how my trades were performing over time, having some more advanced functionality like placing extended hours orders, and some of the more modern approaches to trading, like scaling in and scaling out, and finding average costs, break evens, that sort of thing. Tracking your P&L as you actually withdraw and deposit money on your accounts over time, that sort of thing. A lot of frustration in there, and I decided since what I wanted didn't exist, I was going to create it. Secondly, I am an engineer and an engineering leader. I have been for many years, and I am just utterly fascinated by AI and the tools available. I believe they've fundamentally changed software engineering as we know it. And I really wanted to learn hands-on these tools and these architectures in a lot more depth. And there's no better way of learning than doing. So in this project, I used GitHub Copilot, driving primarily Claude Sonnet 4.5, which I found the most reliable models. But from time to time, even at hit limits, I would use GPT-5.2 codecs from time to time, Gemini 3 Pro, and Raptor Mini, which is a Microsoft project, which is better for some of the lighter weight changes I wanted to make, and it had the benefit of having free token counts. So as I started running the limits, Raptor Mini was kind of nice for cosmetic changes. So in this video, I'm going to walk through what Lumos Trade is, a quick demo. I am not going to demo the AI features in this video. I'm going to dedicate an entire separate video to that. So if you're looking for that, keep reading through the repo and you'll find those. I will also create another video talking through the setup process. So this is an open source project. It is hosted on Google Cloud. It is entirely self-hosted, single tenant. You own your own data, you own your own installation, you own your own hosting costs. So I have an install script that takes all of the toil out of hosting this yourself. And I am not a shell script expert. I was actually able to use AI tools to make a very feature-rich, reliable shell script for this. As an aside, and I may have an architectural video coming in the future too, every line of code was written with AI. I wanted to prove to myself that you can build reliable, high-quality, maintainable code through AI and not just AI slop, that you cringe at looking at. And, when people talk vibe coding, sometimes I have cringe moments where I feel like just some really ugly code that's not maintainable is being created. I peer reviewed every line of code that was changed by the AI, did careful revision management, and I was impressed. Usually it was pretty good. Every now and then went off the rails and I would reprompt in a new direction or just roll back the changes, but more than not, it was pretty darn good. And I felt over the last 3 months, it saved me so much time that it allowed me to expand my ambition significantly as a result. So AI, in my opinion, is not putting us out of work. I think it's allowing us to do more. And you'll see in the features here, I was able to provide quite a few rich features here that I would never have done if I had to code this myself. So let's go ahead and dive in. I know about 4 minutes in, I want to dive into some of the features. So when you log in, you will see this homepage that will provide some different capabilities for you. First of all, you can view your account balances and account history over time. So let's talk about this first. This is a demo account that I've set up. It's in demo mode. I built a simulator. Because it has I will talk about this in a design video in the future. I've created a pretty pluggable infrastructure for adding new brokers in the future. And if you want to contribute to this project and add an additional broker, please contact me. Right now, E-Trade and Charles Schwab are the two that are supported. So actually, you can see that in here. And go to this menu here. You can see there's an authorization through OAuth for E-Trade API and an authorization through Charles Schwab. If you want to use one or both of those, you can go through an OAuth flow and authorize and then import your data from there. Because this is a demo, I'm not going to actually hook these up, and this is a demo site that I will also make available for people to test with. But anyways, to get back to my point, because it is a reusable infrastructure, I was able to basically make a simulator broker, which I would just mocked responses to all the API calls. And I was able to create test data for account balances and account history, which I thought was pretty cool. It helped me with my own testing, and it helped preserve some confidentiality here as well. So let's go ahead and go into the account balances. You will see each of these cards has saved views that you can create for shortcuts, which is kind of cool. Go into account balances, you can see a dashboard of what happened today. A small nitpick, but something that really bugged me in the brokers that I was using, is they would always give you the gains per account in dollar amounts. And sometimes that could be, if you had the market had a red day, it could be pretty shocking. It's like, oh my God, I lost that amount of money. And I thought it was easier and more helpful to think in percentage gains rather than dollar gains. So I just made percentages a lot more prominent than dollar amounts in here. But right away, you can see all of your accounts across multiple brokers are now rolled up together. So you don't have to log in. I was managing through spreadsheets before, logging into different accounts and copy pasting values into a spreadsheet. What a pain, right? And it's nice to just roll it all up in one centralized place. You can see how they changed over time. You can see the daily gains. You can see how much you've put in, how much you've gained, and how high you are off of your all-time high as well, which is something that was not in the reporting that I was seeing in my brokers as well. It was very confusing. It would just give you a total dollar amount, and if you added some money, it would increase the dollar amount. You're like, wow, I had a good day, but no, really, you just added money. So that's one of the things that really annoyed me that I wanted to simplify. You can see how you did for the week. You can see how you did for the month, for example. You can even scroll through prior months, how I did last month, prior weeks. So how was my trading last week? Go back and you can do the same with days as well. This is a bookmark bar. You can create saved bookmarks here through here. This is an example of an AI feature that I would have never really created on my own, but really I just thought, what a cool idea. I want to save some of these views, and I basically just created a prompt and had this feature working in 15 minutes or so. Just amazing. But you can save any view here and actually hit a bookmark. So you can say like test bookmark, and it will save that view, and you can come back to it anytime. This works on all the pages. You can manage it, you can delete it, you can move it up, you can move it down, you can update it, you can delete it, and so forth. If you want to reset the view, you just hit this X and hit the reset, or you can go to any page and hit the button at the top. So this is kind of a boring one. Let's go to more interesting ones. Account history. Let's go to further back. Let's go all time. So this solved one of the problems that I was really frustrated with. As you add money, which is the blue line, the amount of money in your account would grow, but you wouldn't, for the brokerages, you just had the top line. You couldn't tell if it was money adding or if actually the market's gaining over time. And similarly for deduction. So I have this simulator rolling up 3 different accounts. If I select an individual account, you can see different performance. Like here's an investment account, and I'm simulating doing regular withdrawals from this. So every few weeks I would withdraw some money. Here is a trading account where I didn't change the amount of money over time. And then here is an example of an IRA that's just regularly making contributions over time, like a 401k or IRA would just deduct from your paycheck, and you can see steady increases over time, and you can see how your performance did relative to the amount that you've invested as well. So which is kind of cool. You see this mark here, you can annotate significant events on the chart. For example, I put Liberation Day when the stock market crashed quite a bit. You don't see that in the simulator, but obviously in your own trades, you could see quite a bit of turmoil at certain market points, and you can actually configure those at any time by going into this milestones UI here. We're in demo mode, so I can't add it, but you can see I added that there, for example. So let's go back. And you can also do that for filtering, right? In your time filtering, whoops, I can filter what happened since Liberation Day, for example. And you can set those ranges to be open-ended, like a start date, no end date, or a fixed range from start to finish, and you can set them for all accounts or for a specific account. So let's go ahead and go back. All right, you can see your performance over time. Again, weekly and monthly roll-ups are available as well. And if you need to refresh your balances, it will go out to the brokers and get it. If there's new orders that you want to pull in, you can do that as well. There is capability, you'll see it in the install setup, to run cron jobs every day to automatically import this data for you. But if you're actually live and in the user interface and you want the related information, you just click it and it'll go out and get that. Usually takes 5 to 10 seconds, maybe less for some of these different activities. Filtering, you can filter on your certain account, you can filter on your broker as well. So let's see if there's anything else. I think that's, oh, up here, yeah. You can change the views as well, so you can see your winners and losers over time, how your accounts have gained and lost over time. You can, the filtering works here too, so if you want to just look for one account, you can do that as well. Clear the view, go back, change the date, so you have these two views. All right, next tab. Anything else I want to show there? I think that's it. You can see the money I've transferred in and out, and there's links to some of the other views from here, which are kind of useful. Daily gain, total gain, amount invested, changing over time. You can see that all in the table here. All right, let's go to the trades view. Trades view. So I define a trade as a series of orders, buy and sell orders for the same symbol. So this was a frustration point I had with my brokers. If you would say you bought 10 shares of Microsoft, and then you bought 3 more shares of Microsoft, your average cost changes. They report that pretty well. Now let's say you sell 5 shares of Microsoft, but not all of your shares of Microsoft. Your average cost basis just went down or up, depending on what you sold those for. But you may still be buying future shares, and you may still be selling future shares. So your average cost will change based on the prior buys and sells that you did. Generally, in the brokers, they will only show the current number of shares that you have and the current average price, not taking into account prior sales that you may have done. So a trade is basically an aggregation of all the buys and sells for a particular symbol until it reaches 0, right? So you buy 10 shares and you sell 10 shares, the trade's closed. Buy 10 shares, sell 5 shares, the trade's still open. Sell 5 more shares, the trade is closed. So this, for me, was a very important missing feature, because I would scale in and scale out of trades as you buy the dip, sell the rip, right? And as the trades would, as you lowered your cost basis by buying the dip, and then sold partials as it was scaled in, your average cost would go down, and that was not reflected in the brokers. You can see that is represented automatically here, and you can see for each of these. So these are my open trades, for example, in this simulator. You can see the average cost is $50.75 for this Soxal trade for 38 quantity, and the average selling price is $51.80. You can see in some cases, you can see what your break-even price is, and your average buy prices might be different. So break-even is, if the price went below that, you would be losing money. If it went above that, you'd be gaining money. In some cases, you might even get to the point where the break-even becomes 0, and it's house money, right? Like if you've had a scale out, we've been able to sell quantity at a high price, and it basically covered your entire cost of this trade, but you still had open quantity. You're in what's called house money, right? Like you have just basically free shares at that point that are already paid for. So you can see that data here, which is kind of cool. You can also see your gains, like what's been realized and what's not been realized, and the percentage of that over time as well. If there's no realized in here, you'll just see that's all unrealized gain or loss at that point. It works for long trades and short trades. So if you do short trades, you'll have negative quantity in here, and it'll show you the short sale price as well as the buy to cover price and your averages if that is different than the amount that's shown here. Let's go and reset that. Let's see if there's anything else on here. Fees, total fees for all the sales. I'll show you the specific orders in further on in this video. But here are your open trades. You can also see closed trades as well. These are the trades that were closed in the last 15 days, for example. Last 30 days, you can change that. Just trades that were closed today, none. This month. And every time you change those filters, these roll-ups and charts change as well. So let's reset the filter and go back. You will see views up here. So here is kind of a bubble chart of all my open trades right now. You can see when they were placed, which is the dates here. You can see how much they cost. The higher they are, the more they cost. And the bubble size is how much they are worth. So obviously, if something's down, if something's low in a big bubble, it means you're making a lot of money. If it's high in a small bubble, it means you're losing the money, right? So you can see that distribution here. You can see all the symbols. You can change it. You can see total gain and loss for these open trades. So you can see realized and unrealized. So the realized is green, orange, or beige, I guess, is the unrealized gain. So that's your total gain. You can see how much you've realized it or loss as well. And you can, and all these filters apply here, right? Like if I wanted to just look at my investments, for example, I could just see that. Trading account, I could just see that. My IRA, I could just see that. Or I could filter for like just all my E-Trade accounts, for example. Or I could just look at a certain symbol if I wanted. Just look at my Apple trades. These are different accounts, for example. So that's gains versus costs, distribution. Just a pie chart showing how much my trades add up to the whole. This is what they cost me. This is what they are worth percentage-wise. You can see that here. You can see roll-ups of the entire values here. Again, if you filter, like let's say just my investments, you can see that. Just trading account, you can see that. IRA, you can see that, for example. Let's go back and go gains. Another feature which I added, thank you AI, that I thought was really valuable. Sometimes I don't think in terms of specific stock symbols, I think in terms of groups of symbols. So if you go, for example, to this symbol groups here, you can define groups. So like defensive stocks, Berkshire Hathaway, Ford, SCHD, dividend ETF. Indexes, the Qs, SPY, the Magnificent Seven stocks. These are just the 3 that I have in the simulator. You could put all 7. Speculative, RK, Bitcoin, Soxol, which is a leveraged SOX, leveraged QQQ. You can also put these and group them in together. You can configure those here. And then when you go into these views, you say group by symbol groups. And now you can see all of them rolled up together. Here's the Mag 7, here's the indexes, here's my speculative bets. And you can see these in all the different views. You can see how they gained and lost over time, and the distribution. I think this is usually pretty useful. In fact, so useful, I'll create a chart for it. Group distributions. Okay, and then for example, if I clear this view and I go here, I can see it again. And this also appears as a shortcut on the home page too, right? So if I go to the home page here, you can see group distributions just appeared there. Go back here, and I can see that view that I just created. All of these columns are sortable. You can also filter many of them as well. Okay, let's go to the next view, history. So this shows your trades over time. So while the trades view is a current daily snapshot of what they look like right now or in days past, for example, or I'm sorry, where on this trades view you can see your current open and closed. The history is more of how do they perform over time. So for example, you see this selector. Here's today's trade status, right? And you can see what yesterday's was and the day before and the day before. So you can scroll through that. So here's a roll up of how, let's see, we're looking at all of my trades, how much they gained for the day, how much they did over time, what's the largest win, largest loss, all sorts of interesting stats here. Current value of all of them added together, current cost of all of them added together, gains, losses, all that. You can see for each of them, you can see tooltips with the prices as well, including the averages, and the gains are realized, unrealized, that's all in there. You can have this rolled up on the weekly basis, the monthly basis, just like before. And you can also group it by symbol groups, right? So I can see my defensives, my indexes, and so forth. So these are all rolled up here, which is kind of cool. Filter by account, filter by a particular symbol. If you filter by symbol groups, for example, you can filter just your defensives if you wanted, that sort of thing. Let's free that up. And you can go into chart mode, which I think is where it's more interesting here too. So I hide the table here because there's a lot of data that would be shown here, but you can select, for example, the value of all of these trades over the last 90 days, last 30 days if you wanted. Let's do 960. So here's the different trades, what the current value of them was. You can, let's see, if you wanted to filter, just see like, how do my Apple trades do? These are different accounts, investments, trading, right? So if I just said investments, you just see the Apple trade there. You can do it as a stacked graph. That's pretty noisy there, but if you had less in there, that would be useful. Trade gains. Trade gains stacked. Let's filter this because this is too much information. Let's go investments, group by symbol groups. Okay, maybe that's a little better. You can see how they've stacked. Let's do maybe shorter. This has been kind of helpful to me. You can just see like how the days have gone, like each trading day. Have they gone up? Have they gone down? What's your total gain each day? So that's kind of useful. You can see if you've been realizing some gains over time, if you had some losses, that sort of thing. And this is the gains, for the day, right? So you can go back and do different days actually. There we go. Like you can see the different stocks in there and how they've done. And all these filters continue to work, right? So if you want to just look at a specific account, you can do that as well. Okay. So all the views, yes. Finally, the orders view. These are the actual transactions that have occurred on your brokerage. Again, this is simulated. So you can see the ID. So if you need to go in your broker and copy paste this to do something with it, it's there. You can see which account it's in, what symbol, buy, sell. You can filter on the action in there, quantity, price. So this is, mostly just the historical record of what rolled up to the trades, and you can see all the trades that they rolled up into as well. These roll-ups are kind of useful when you start filtering. So for example, let's look here on this order right here is part of trade 358. So let's go back here and show trade 358. Here is the Soxal trade. You can see 38 quantity. You can see it had 3 orders, for example. So if you click back here, you can see the 3 orders that contributed in the trade, 3 buys right now. You can have mixed buys and sells. You can have mixed shorts and covers, and that's where it gets more interesting on the scale in and scale out average prices. You can click refresh. It'll load. It'll look out and see if any new orders were created in the system. Same on these other views, right? So you can refresh orders. Refresh quotes here. Since we're showing current value, the price might have changed. So you can just do a quick refresh of quotes, and it will, if the price changed, it will update that from the broker as well. So orders are primarily useful for cross filtering from the other pages, but you can look at specific orders that happen too. Like you can see, like I have a book right here for today's days orders. You can see like what trades did I make today, and you can see all of them here, which is kind of useful. All right, some other features. Let's go back to the home page. If you go to the tools, here's another feature. Again, I would never have created this if I didn't have the AI superpower. I just had this idea, and I swear maybe an hour later this feature was up and running. These are daily expected moves, and you can do weekly, monthly, quarterly. And for those who have done trading, this is a statistical likelihood that a price will be within a certain range every day. I don't want to get too deep into the math, but basically it uses options implied volatility. At the end of the day, it takes the implied volatility for a particular stock at the 50 delta. And it will then calculate based on the closing price and then implied volatility and the delta for that stock. It will calculate a 68% chance, which is a 1 sigma deviation, that the stock price the next day will either be above this number, the expected low, or below this number. If you watch it on charts, it's actually remarkably accurate. It's mind-boggling sometimes how good it is. Yes, there are exceptions, but it's generally pretty good, especially for the more liquid tickers like SPY and QQQ, for example. So you can see these expected lows and highs calculated every day, and then 2 sigma high and 2 sigma low is a 2 standard deviation, which is I think a 90. Oh, it's up here. No, 68%. 95% probability that price will be between the two. Price almost never goes above 2 sigmas, right? So if you see a trade going at the 2 sigma level, it's a pretty safe bet to long or short at that because at worst case it'll stay even, but luckily it'll rebound to some degree. So those are rare, but when they happen, you jump on them. And you can see the IV here as well. So this is all calculated. I use the E-Trade API to get the options information. I run a scheduled job at the end of the day to pull this information and calculate it. I'm in read-only mode here in the demo, but if you install it yourself, you can see you can also do weekly, monthly, and quarterly expected moves. I found my calculations for those are sometimes not, I might have to keep debugging that. Sometimes they're not right on, but the dailies are usually pretty right on. So that's a cool tool. It's optional. You don't have to use it, but if you find that useful. And then the other one is placed orders. So this was a frustration I had with my brokers. Yes, you can place orders that are valid from 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern New York time for market hours, and you can set those and forget those, and that's great. But extended hours trading is open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, and you cannot, at least through E-Trade and Charles Schwab, you cannot set extended hour trades that survive the day. They expire every night at 8 p.m. I don't know if that's a compliance rule or if that's just a limitation of the platform. I suspect it's probably a compliance rule. But regardless, it was frustrating to me because that's basically half of the trading day. You don't have exposure to price action that might actually go to your price early in the morning or late at night. And I did not want to log into my broker every morning at 7 a.m. to place these orders. So I created this tool that basically you can configure any ticker that you want to buy and sell through, and you select the account, set the price, and then a cron job runs every morning at 7 in the morning, and it will actually execute this trade, or it'll place the order, I should say. If the order has already filled, it will not place it. But if it has not filled, if it has not executed already in the past, then it will place it again. And this is a great way of set it and forget. So if there's a trade that I want to set and just not look at it until it's done, I can do it in here without having to worry about my brokerage messing it up, basically, and not allowing me to have an extended hour trade for that. Okay, let's see if I missed anything. I think that's it. There's a lot more under the hood I can talk about later, but those are the main features. Like I said at the beginning, a primary reason I built this was to get more exposure to AI, both using AI tools, which I talked about, as well as building AI tools too. So I'm going to create a separate video for that, but I used ADK, Agent Development Kit by Google, to create 2 different AI agents, which are used by Lumos, as well as MCP, Model Context Protocol. I created 2 different tools that are exposed to those different tools, those agents, that pull data from Lumos into your chat interface. So AI chat is a conversational chat where you can ask questions and get tabular information as well as get answers. AI Conjure, to go with the Lumos theme here, is my experimentation with charting, graphing, and basically prompting an AI agent to return structured data, which can then be rendered into a chart, which I thought was pretty cool. Those are big topics in their own right, so I'm going to make a different video for that. But for now, I think that's it. So welcome to Lumos Trade. It is an open source project. Financial information, use at your own risk, right? This is not trading advice. You can lose money trading. I'm not advocating buying or selling any particular instrument. Use your own best judgment, right? Like, this is not trading advice. This is just a tool that I found useful for myself. I wanted to open source it and put it out on a repo, and you can host it yourself on Google Cloud. If someone's ambitious, maybe they can put directions to do AWS or some other service. But we'll have an architectural review as well. We're talking about it. It's primarily a Node.js project, but it uses some Python for some of the AI work as well. Runs on Cloud Run Services, uses MySQL and a bunch of other dependencies. We'll talk through that in the installation. I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoyed doing this project. I will probably continue to tinker on it over time, but I hope you find some value because I found a lot of value out of it. Enjoy.